there are plenty of elements that wouldn't be at all out of character for a campaign speech, or where you hear one of his rallies, the regurgitation of the greatest hits. But he said two things that I thought were important to note. One, the difference between, empty words, and that's not how to solve wars. It's going to be action. And then number two, a pretty stinging criticism of the degrowth mentality that I think has taken over Europe. And the two are very much linked. He talks about the energy sanctions against Russia, but at the same time, how much the European Union continues to buy their oil. And you have Germany continuing to shut down nuclear power plants funded thanks to green groups that are funded by Putin, on the one hand. That degrowth mentality is terrible for Western democracy. It's terrible for Western economies. It is fantastic for China, they are embracing growth left, right, and center. So enough of those empty words that in those cases lead to actions that are detrimental to the West. And on the other hand, willing to take action. I mean, he talks about the wars that he solved, and is there some hyperbole? Is there some exaggeration? It's Donald Trump, of course.
The wars are still being fought, correct?
They are, but what he's trying to do, and I think this doesn't get covered, is looking for a tangible, articulable American interest in those conflicts, right? The mineral deal in Ukraine, the mineral deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan. If you have something tangible, that can actually last across administrations versus rhetoric and high-minded thoughts that easily get swept out with the changing of the guard.
How do you see it, Dan?
I mean, look, I think this was a microcosm of one of the signatures of Donald Trump, which is when he's on the big stages, he can't help himself but to air grievances and lie, right? He started by criticizing the decor of the UN, saying that he could have done a better job, criticized the escalator that he was going off of, and then he just spouted off 4 lies in a row. He said grocery prices were down, they're up year over year. He said inflation was defeated. The goal of the Fed, it's still 30% above that goal. He said D.C. was the crime capital of America. Crime is at a 30-year low in D.C. He even talked about going out to dinner and how many more people are going down to dinner when reservations are down in D.C. So this is just an example of what Trump does when he has the big stage. I think as a reality TV star, he likes the imagery of going after countries while they're sitting there. But my question is, what kind of impression of the United States does this leave on the world? I think it's a pretty poor one.
Mollye Ball, I mean, look, to kind of pick up on one of the points the congressman was making,